Thank you so much, Dr. Aravind, for talking to us today and giving us your valuable insights. To begin with, can you tell us that at Solventum, what work are you actually taking up in the intersection of AI and healthcare?
Okay. First off, thanks for having me. I think it's always refreshing to interact with academia and specifically with researchers in academia, because that's where I've come from. I know the need for this kind of collaboration, and I've always done it as part of my role over the last couple of decades, working with major institutions around the world, in Europe, in the US, as well as in India. I have worked very closely with IIT Madras in the past.
Okay.
So coming to Solventum, first off, I'm leading their effort in Agentic AI for healthcare. If you see the AI news buzz, Agentic is like a big word.
Absolutely.
Everyone knows about it, and it's the future, truly. And at Solventum also, we are definitely trying to make a big push, and I'm heading that effort. Solventum as a company is a healthcare information management system company, especially my business unit, even though they do other things in terms of manufacturing equipment and other things. That's not related to my work.
Right.
Now, healthcare information management itself, we have all fortunately or unfortunately, had ourselves or our family members be in hospitals in our lifetimes, and the experience generally is not very pleasant. Not the healthcare itself from the doctor's side. That hopefully everyone has had good experiences. Whereas the process itself, we are at the time of admission and the time of discharge. Oh my God, the wait is just painful, right? We are told that, okay, your surgery is good, you're ready to go home. You're told that at 6 a.m. and at 4 p.m. you're still looking at your watch, waiting for your family members to wheel in, right? Now, Solventum's, especially healthcare information management systems, primary job is how do I infuse AI to reduce this process's time as well as increase the accuracy as well. So at a high level, I would say that's what we work on.
Okay.
Today, it's very manual, and that's why it takes so long. We want to infuse AI in every aspect of this process to cut it down to a few minutes instead of several hours.
Wonderful. I think a lot of people are going to be happy if we get to the few minutes point for sure. Yeah. Expanding a little bit on the healthcare and AI part of it, healthcare probably is one of those industries that is looking at AI for better, easier, quicker solutions in a much larger way than many other probably domains and sectors. Why do you think that AI has got such a huge role to play in healthcare? I know you're coming from the management system side a little more, but if you talk about generally healthcare and health solutions, and whether it's digital health or whether it is the actual coming up with drug solutions, etc., how is it that AI has really become so critical for healthcare?
Yeah, so healthcare in general has a couple of challenges. One is it's very data intensive. There's so much data, but it's all unstructured data or in people's minds, and we have never been able to really harness that. And AI is really good at that. Right? With the compute, you don't need to worry about is it 1 terabyte I'm dealing with or even more than that. Whereas human capacity, we cannot. Not with the accuracies that we need in a domain like this.
Right.
So that's where really AI plays a big role. So in healthcare, drug research, for example, whatever used to take us years now can be done in a month of compute time.
Absolutely.
We can definitely throw money when we know that the end point is 1 month.
Right.
Rather than throwing money at a problem where after 5 years the drug is still not ready, it's still in trials, or we went down the wrong path and you have to abandon it.
Correct.
So we are hoping we can reduce that from a discovery standpoint. Now, in process standpoint, you'll be really surprised at how much leakage of funds happen in the healthcare system itself.
Okay.
For example, because of wrong billing in the US in 2024, it was like $300 billion was lost by not billing appropriately. So the hospitals have a chance to bill to the insurance company.
Yes.
Insurance company says, oh my God, this is a lot of work. We're not going to give you many chances to keep fixing your issues with this bill.
Okay.
You have one chance to appeal. You better fix it. If you don't, then the hospital just eats that, amount that they've already spent.
Okay.
So what they do is they want to make sure one human checks it, next human checks it, the three of them check it before they even send it to insurance.
Okay.
So you can see where the problem
Absolutely,
is, right?
yes.
Now, when so many humans are involved, and these are not like contact center jobs where a high schooler would be able to do it. These are people who need to understand the domain, understand the vocabulary, understand what the physicians are talking about or the surgeons are talking about,
Right.
and put it into codes. Some complicated procedure will be called, AB123.76 eventually.
Make it as complicated and medical as possible.
Yeah, and then you need to be super accurate with that. Today we pay a lot of dollars to these coders, as we call them, not the software coders, but medical coders.
Right.
And that's an art that's slowly dying as well. There are not many coders. Number of hospitals are growing.
Right.
Coders are not growing.
Okay.
So you'll see where the gap is. It will only get worse. The 8 hours that I'm saying discharge takes today, if you don't intervene with AI today, it's going to take a whole day.
Wow.
So that's what we are trying to solve.
That's great. A lot of the innovation, anywhere in any field that will happen, there is a start point of any work that comes out or any solution that comes out, which usually lies in some amount of research, some amount of groundwork that's put into understanding the problem, understanding the solution, and then coming up with a final version of it, which usually comes down to the academia and research. Yes. So how is Solventum already doing this, but also what is the importance of this industry and academia collaboration for, once again, just more solutions to come in, more innovations to come in?
Yeah, I think that's a fantastic question. This is something that we debate all the time, in industry is, should we do everything? Do we have the capacity to do everything?
Yes.
That takes resources, human resources, as well as time, which we can't afford, especially in this fast-paced AI world. Absolutely. Where you blink and a new thing comes out. Right. And our competition will, either latch onto it or try to beat us at it. So it's imperative that we have to lean on another source. Right. Where innovation continues to happen, and academia is a perfect place for that, especially the top-notch institutions like the IITs, and around the world we collaborate with other universities as well, like Carnegie Mellon University, etc. We lean on them, and we don't do it nonchalantly. Okay. We do it with purpose. Okay. There is a real problem, especially if it is very fundamental with a high risk, high reward type of activity, or it's very data intensive. Okay. These are perfect places where academia can play a big role. Today, for example, even though there is so much health data out there, it's not all accessible for industry to go do research on it because of all the compliances and guidelines from the governments and sovereignty and all this, right? But the academia, they can actually work with the governments to make sure all this data is available in a scrubbed, sanitized form, so that whole bunch of companies from this particular industry can lean on that data, and innovation will automatically happen. Right. In the absence of that, you're waiting for the government to take action. Absolutely. Well, it's a slow-moving, enterprise in general, and we can't do much about it. So we use synthetic data, which is not representing the real world as well, right? Correct. So that's where I feel like this partnership between academia and industry is vital and almost necessary.
Okay. And where do you think is the ideal solution for these kind of partnerships, in a sense that should it be that industry is going to academia with its problem statements, or researchers are working on a sort of, it's not like they don't know what the problems are, so they're already working on some solutions, and once the stage of some level of success comes in, is where industry comes in to take one step forward, get it into a translational stage. What's the ideal balance for something like this?
So I think we have to attack it in multiple ways. One is from a people standpoint, the more early exposure we give the students and the professors to the problems in the industry, through internships is like a very common and an easy way to do it. They come back from that internship and now they have a new found exposure to the problems in the real world.
Right.
They work with their professors and hopefully it becomes part of their research project or their dissertation, and that's one path. So I think that human side we need to obviously inculcate. The other part is compute. AI is compute intensive.
Yes.
Not every university is going to throw dollars at getting the latest greatest GPUs that are out there. That is necessary for a lot of work that we do. But the industry can subsidize that with a real project that says, you guys can do this, and the way we sponsor you is through the compute.
Right.
So that can be another big pillar, I would say, in this partnership. And then finally, once these two things start happening, then it becomes RFPs saying, hey, I have this problem. Now, which of these universities have the right professors and foundations such as the Mehta Foundation who are focused on very specific areas, and we just industry can go seek them out.
Right.
So it can be in 3 different ways.
Which will be a very good idea because a lot of times when especially PhD students start their research work, they spend a lot of time in even trying to figure out what's the problem path that they want to go down. So the more we can have real world problems coming to academia, it will be a more productive research work that comes out of the students and faculty researchers as well.
Yeah.
Taking one step further towards the collaboration part, we're sitting at the CARE conference today at IIT Guwahati. How important do you think these kind of conferences are to bring people together, to be able to not just hear from everybody what is the work going on, what is the cutting edge work going on all across the globe, but also have an opportunity to network and talk to each other to find out what we are doing, what each of us are into, and give us opportunities to collaborate and partner up and take our own work forward as well. So how does that picture in this whole scheme of collaboration?
No, I think these types of workshops or conferences are absolutely vital because in my current role, it's hard for me to go to conferences as often as I used to 10 years back, right? But a focused event like this definitely catapults my networking into this world for very good reasons, right? Now I know a few other professors who are looking at similar modeling techniques that we are using in healthcare. Perfect place to start, interacting as a larger unit rather than me thinking about is it Solventum plus IIT Guwahati. Now it is actually that plus a few other stakeholders who could potentially be great partners, right? So it's a fantastic way to organize these things and really opening the minds of some of the PhD scholars also saying, hey, I'm very, because of your own personal life experiences, you may be very passionate about healthcare. A lot of us are. We've all had family members who have been through tough medical situations. So we want to do whatever little that we can to help it out. Need not solve the actual medical problem itself, but if you can fix the process, that's our little contribution, right? So people can get inspired. That's just my side of the story. Similarly, now they look at, I just came out of a talk talking about robotics and how some of these systems are have emergent behavior, which means they were not trained for a certain thing, but based on feedback from the real world, these systems are learning how to navigate the real world. That can be an inspiration for someone else. So I think that inspiration, we can't put value to it.
Absolutely.
But it comes, it is very vital in academics and in PhDs for sure.
So in all your years of experiences with attending conferences, etc., has there been one instance of a collaboration that you found at a conference or some meaningful relationship that you found at a personally for you?
Yeah, absolutely. For several years, I've worked with one of the research institutions from Switzerland called IDIAP.
Okay.
And that was born out of my relationship with my peers during my PhD days, and I keep meeting them, running into them in conferences through my academic life. and at some point, something gelled. And we felt very strongly that, hey, you are in academics, I came out to the industry, but the problems we are solving are the same. I know your capabilities, they know my capabilities. So it just became a natural partnership. And that, and I moved jobs in between, but that partnership continued even with the new job.
Amazing.
So, that's I think that's the strong bond that you can really, mentor through these processes.
Absolutely wonderful, wonderful. Just to wrap things up, any advice that you would have or anything that you would like to say to our young researchers, our PhD students who are not just attending today, but also out there trying to make a mark or trying to do some good work? So something that you would like to say to them?
Yeah, I think, that in itself would be a big lecture, but I would say at the top 1 or 2 things that PhD scholars should really pay attention to would be, be very serious about the fundamentals. It's easy to get tempted by looking at new solutions coming out, new models coming out, new technologies coming out, where life becomes easy. But if you forget the fundamentals, then you can't contribute to the next revolution. Right? Because you have become so used to the easy way out in some sense, right? So that's one I would say. So I think fundamentals are important. Focus on those. The second thing is diligence. I think one of the differentiators between a PhD scholar and a master's student or an undergrad is how diligent you are with your experimentation.
Right.
One of the, my common coffee time lectures to my employees or my reports generally is, don't throw numbers at me. You are the person who is doing the research. You have to use your brain to give me a summary of what you think you found, what are the next steps, and I can give feedback on that.
Right.
But if you just throw me an Excel spreadsheet, that's not what it is. But PhD scholars need to know that. Right. And I think that's the muscle memory they need to get into, where everything they do is just, very diligent, to the point, and using their own conclusions to drive the next steps. Once they get used to it, they're just one step closer to being a professional in the real world as well.
Right. And which is where I feel it's great to have a lot of industry participation during their entire learning course, because they get all of these very important perspectives right down to the T from the very beginning for them.
Yes.
So thank you so much, Dr. Aravind. Thank you so much for giving us your time and giving us your valuable insights. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Kriti, for having me, and also for the Mehta Foundation, IIT Guwahati, for having me at this wonderful event. Thank you.